welcome to the Social Cafe. I'm Ileane Smith, and we're going to talk about live streaming along with some new ways that we can use vertical live streams. And we'll also share some creative tips for using live streaming throughout the holidays. I'll be joined by my co host, Deb Anderson, also known as Social Web Cafe. And we have two speakers who have joined us as well, and that is Lisa Sicard from Inspired to Thrive and Martin Lindeskog from Tea Party Media. Let's get into it. Deborah, have you done any live streaming recently?
I've been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes as far as preparing tutorials. So I'm looking forward to putting out a tutorial of how to live stream. It's actually Madeline Sklar's idea. So I got to give, shout out to Madeline and her idea because she'd seen someone else do it and she wanted to know how to do it. So the hardest thing is the holiday season is how do you get the schedules to, line up so that you can actually make the video together. But anyway, I'm working on a tutorial of how to have an X space and then also StreamYard, since that one's so popular, even though the price has gone up, it's still popular. How to actually collaborate with both of them so that the idea is, and this was, again, to Madeline's credit, it was her idea, was how can we, pull in the people that are still on X, but also those people who have left X so that they can kind of join the X space, if you will, but not an X space. It's now a live stream via Stream Deck or Riverside or, Ecamm, whatever you're using, join that and be a participant. And I love her vision on that. It's like, how can we get the most people participating that are not restricted by their choice to leave X?
Yeah, I love that idea. And is that something that you're thinking of doing this month or
Yes.
does it matter? This month. Okay.
This month. I was hoping to do it ideally I was going to do it before we got together so I could say, hey, check out this video here. But I'm still, pulling together the pieces and I've got a wonderful backdrop it's all holiday-like. And I thought, well, who cares if it's dated? It'd be like, we did it during December. This is fun. This is, holiday backdrop. And so I'm hoping to record it and then I will put it on my YouTube so people can just go to YouTube and find it there and figure out how to do it. Because there's so many people that are doing it. Well, I shouldn't say so many, not that many, but people are doing it. But Madeline and I have looked and no one's really sitting down and saying, this is how you do it step by step. And maybe I shouldn't be telling people how to do it because maybe someone wants to charge money for that. But I don't know, maybe I give away too much for free, but I just want to tell people how to do it.
Yeah. And, whatever they're doing doesn't stop you from doing what you do. And,
Exactly.
you're very well versed with live streaming. And so I think it's a great idea. I'm glad that Madeline suggested it, but I am behind it 100%.
Thank you. Thank you. She's not thrilled with the OBS part. And I told her, I said, unfortunately, I think, it really needs OBS for the layers. I know that in the scenes, I should say, but that's not the thrilling part. But I told her I'd make it as simple as possible for people. So it's like, yes, you probably need to download this, but here's the step-by-step. I'll make a template if I can. So it's like, download this, use this, so that people don't have to feel like they have to become experts in OBS. It's like, you might have to use it, but here's how you use it, like a recipe, step by step. And then that's it. You don't have to interact with it like an expert.
Awesome. Awesome. And, we should say for those that don't know what OBS is a free open source live streaming platform that a lot of people used before, Ecamm and StreamYard and all that. OBS has been around for the longest time. I took one look at it and I said, nope, not going to use that one.
I think you're right there on the same page. That sounds exactly like what Madeline said. She's like, no, thank you.
But Deborah is so savvy with, and I probably at this point, because of all the years that I've been using Ecamm Live, I may be able to transfer those skills over, but I really don't need to. So,
right.
Yeah.
I tried not to use, because I had the same thought. I'm like, oh my goodness, do I want to spend a month becoming an OBS expert? Do I really want to do this? But, I'm so techie that I just kept nudging towards it. It's like, oh, but this is intriguing. Oh, I got to try this. Oh, I got to try, and pretty soon I'm playing with OBS more than I thought I was going to. But as
Well,
far
let
as the solution, I think it really needs OBS unless you want to spend a bunch of money for I can't remember now the app, but there's one that's like $600 or something. If
oh,
you want it for an inexpensive step by step, I think OBS is the answer.
okay. Well, I don't know if you are aware that Ecamm now has an integration with Zoom. And
Wow.
this, yeah, and so, yeah, and actually, the Zoom people are actually working with Ecamm, so they came on to help to get the word out about it, and they actually worked together with Ken and Glenn, who are the developers of Ecamm, and so this is a way that a lot of people are having these sort of hybrid type um, meetings where the folks that are in Zoom, because at this point, almost everybody knows how to join a Zoom if you're online, right? You know how to join a Zoom.
Oh yeah.
And it just brings all the super tech cool things about Ecamm into the Zoom, and it will allow anyone to, be featured as a speaker, and then also, share your screen and all that good stuff that you can do with Zoom. So
Wow. Wow. I
that's
wonder if
an
that's gonna be a game changer as far as all the stuff that the Stream Deck is doing with the higher prices and everything. I wonder if that's gonna be a game changer.
yeah, and you know what? Since we're talking about it, I am an affiliate for Ecamm, so I'm just going to put it out there right now. Here's my affiliate link. If anyone who's listening to this wants to check it out, and you can get a free trial, and that's going to be my name, which is Ileane.link/Ecamm Live, and I'll make sure that I tweet that out too later on. But before we actually get into the some of the things that we're going to talk about today, I do have one piece of news and one piece of news that something that happened to me that I want to tell you. So I just want to share the first piece of news is that LinkedIn has stopped their live audio events.
I think Madeline had mentioned that too in one of her X spaces that but their events were basically linking to another service. So they're just discontinuing.
No, the audio. They
Oh,
had audio events.
right, right,
Audio events, but they were not recorded. And
right,
like I think that when they first came out, in fact, I know I was looking forward to, eventually they're going to add recording. And they told when I say them, I'm not really a LinkedIn user. Like I have a profile, I go in there and I like stuff, and I actually do some stuff for my day job. But me personally, I'm not really a LinkedIn user. And they were told, the folks that were in the little pilot program, that they were going to get recording, but it never happened. And as a result, a lot of those folks left LinkedIn with doing their audio events. I mean, they didn't leave LinkedIn altogether, but they
right.
they they started up another app, and honestly, off the top of my head, I can't remember the name of it right now. But okay, so that's one piece of news I wanted to share with everyone,
It
which
is
is an
surprising though that they didn't go to the recording. I mean, that seems like in this day and age, that seems like the next step. And it always surprised me that they didn't choose to have it recorded.
it has to do with hosting of the files, and
Yep.
I don't understand why. Because actually, when we live stream to LinkedIn, they don't host the files.
Nope. Nope.
You have to use a third party tool. I guess they do. You can watch the replays there on LinkedIn.
Right.
So,
So
but
they're kind of there, but yeah, I always use Riverside, and other people using like Ecamm or Stream Deck or Zoom, whatever. But you're actually recording in your third party software.
right, right.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And the other thing that I wanted to tell you, because I'm not sure you saw me do a little short about this, YouTube invited me to something called the Creator Collective. And it was an event, it was a Friendsgiving event here in Philly. I'm so glad they're doing events here in Philly now. And that was last month. It was very, very nice. It was a nice gathering. And there is another event coming up soon that they invited me to as well. But they kind of keep things hush hush until like the last minute. They say it's going to be at this location.
That is so cool. That I think I did see a post on that one. I thought I put a love on it, but that is so cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent.
So in real life stuff has to happen as well.
Yep.
Yeah. And so Lisa, did you want to chime in on anything? You've kind of been muted, but hi.
Hi, how's everyone doing today?
Great.
Thank you for having another Spaces. I'm looking to start one hopefully by January, and you guys have given me some inspiration to just do it. And
Yay.
I think with Ecamm, that would be great to have it go other places at the same time.
Yeah. And so what is going to be the topic of your spaces, Lisa?
Probably social media and maybe the new X, how it's changed. I've had some people that I've been conversing with, and a lot of them weren't aware of how it used to be back like in 2009 when we started. And it really has changed, and I'm learning a lot from a lot of the younger folks on X. And it's just been a lot of fun joining other groups, listening to other spaces, and kind of expanding my horizons, you know?
That's excellent. I love that topic. That's great.
Yeah. And of course,
Yeah.
we have not said hello and welcomed Martin to the space. Hey, Martin, how are you? I just sent you a speaker invitation. If you want to speak, just come on up and
Thanks.
chime. There you go. How are you?
I'm here. I'm okay. Yourself?
Good. Great. I'm doing great. Even though I didn't get a nap today, I tried, y'all. Just
Well,
didn't
that's you tried.
happen. Okay,
Yeah.
Deborah, was there anything that you wanted to add on our agenda today?
I don't think so. Beyond you've opened it up eloquently as always. Yeah.
All right. Well, what I want to let me make sure that Martin, did you want to say something?
I will listen and then maybe comment something at the end. But
Okay.
I came a bit late here and joined a bit late. So thanks for reminder, Lisa. I was going on and then something happened, so I had to take care of it. But now I'm here. So
You're welcome.
yeah, I did a note to myself and that tweeted or posted regarding this LinkedIn. So I'm interested to look more into that. So yeah, what
Yeah.
happened there?
Okay.
So because I said in a tweet also that this podcasting and podcasting 2.0 is very interesting, and I saw Deborah here tweeted back here also. So yeah.
That's
Keep going.
next month. That happens to be our topic for December. So
Right.
unless we change that
You
one.
mean January?
Is it January?
Yeah, you mean yes.
Oh,
We are
whoops.
in December, I think.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
So
We
that's
are.
why you said December 4th,
Sorry.
4th, and I said, I'm sorry I missed it, but you mean then January 4th. Okay,
Oh,
good.
okay.
Then I'm not
All right.
too late.
I'm a ding dong. Okay, I admit it.
No, you're not. You're not. Please don't
Yes,
say that, Deborah.
yes, on
Yeah,
January.
okay, good.
January the
4th. I will
4th.
be there.
See,
And it will be a new year also.
yes,
Right.
yes.
Yes.
See, I'm still in November. I'm still stuck on Thanksgiving.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's first talk about like why live streaming? Like what are some of the benefits really of live streaming? There's just so many ways that we can produce content and even collaborate with one another. But why live streaming? So I came up with a couple, and one of them is just the opportunity for a shared experience. Like we're actually having a shared experience right now, Deborah, Lisa, Martin, and myself. And it's something special about that. Even though we're on different parts of the country and even of the world, we're all coming together here at this moment. And that is also one of the beautiful things about live streaming, that, you've got the people who are on camera, and then there's usually an audience as well, like maybe a chat. It just all depends upon what platform you're using. But yeah, that's one of the benefits.
I love
What do you
that.
think,
I
Jen?
love that. A great way to describe it.
Okay. And also, it's that interaction and the engagement that, like even with our conversations going back and forth, it's not just like one person or two people that are just doing all the talking and, everybody else is listening. There's an opportunity when you're live streaming, even if you're doing one of those streams where you're the only one that's on camera, but then the chat is coming in during real time, and people can, it depend upon, like I said, what platform you're on. People can send you gifts or, super chats or uh, tokens or coins. It depends upon if you're on TikTok or Facebook or YouTube. And yeah, so that also increases the engagement and increases the interest for live streaming.
Exactly.
And Kova the One is here. Hello, and thank you so much for joining. Okay, so let's move into a little bit about the different live streaming that is starting to be more prevalent these days. And when I say different, it's just the vertical live streaming is starting to just be something that people are really focusing on. And by people, I mean the different platforms. For example, YouTube is starting to focus on the vertical live streams. They're giving streamers all kinds of little perks and benefits for going vertical. TikTok, of course, has always had a vertical live streaming. Theirs was never really horizontal. And some folks were doing horizontal live streams on TikTok, and it just looks so awkward.
Because it's a little tiny horizontal thing, then all this vertical space that's unused.
Yeah. Yes, and they actually shut down the third party access for like StreamYard
Mm-hmm.
and Ecamm Live. So you can't really do those anymore. So it's really a vertical thing. And yeah, it's very, very popular. Even Instagram has a vertical live streams.
And don't you need on TikTok? Don't you need like 1,000 subscribers to be able to live stream or something? There's some requirement.
Yes and no, because they have these kind of requirements, but it's not. TikTok is not YouTube. Like, YouTube has a page where you can go to the page and you can see this is what you need to do and this is how many you need to have. And TikTok doesn't have that. Right. So yes, you're supposed to have 1,000. And then some people even say you're supposed to have 5,000. And, people are confused because, like I said, TikTok doesn't have like this place where everything is listed. And I got access to live streaming when I only had around 700 or 800 followers. So, and I don't know why. I just looked one day, I had a notification and said, oh, you can go live. I'm like, okay.
I wonder what their algorithm is. Because I know when I've talked to Madeline, she's had, okay, how do I say this? Because I don't want to make it a whole discussion. She has content that is wonderful content, but sometimes she's had her profile shut down. So then she has to start from scratch. She gets her her followers back again. She's Madeline. It's Madeline. I probably didn't describe that really well. So if you have a question, go to Madeline. There's nothing negative about Madeline Sklar, but anyway, I'm just
on
saying,
TikTok?
on TikTok. So what I'm saying
Okay.
is she has the experience of having to start fresh all over again a couple different times. And she said that she doesn't get access to live stream until a certain number. That's what I thought she said 1,000, but 800 kind of sounds right too. But maybe it's different for different users depending on how active they are or whatever. But
it's willy-nilly.
yeah,
Yes. They
yeah.
just
Whatever their algorithm is. But yeah, again, I don't know what I'm talking about as far as that goes with Madeline Sklar. Talk to her personally.
But Martin, you have your hand raised. Did you want to say something?
Yes, and I will probably talk to her, but I will talk to you first, Deborah. But I saw in your feed on Twitter here on X regarding a podcast that you have been at. So I think it could be the topic that maybe had her to start over. And
Yep.
But I want to talk about that privately because it's linked to one of my podcasts on a different plan, so to speak. So it'd be interesting to hear about the experience first. So
yeah, and it
thanks
is related to the topic. Like I don't want to speak on her behalf, but it is. She did interview me, and that episode came out a week ago Friday. And yes, it is related to the topic.
Yep, that's my guess. So,
yep.
Thanks.
Yeah, and so what I find, like I said, with TikTok, they do have a lot of community guidelines, but I don't know where to find them. So people do get their accounts shut down, or their streams are muted, or, like you're banned from live streaming. Your account is still fine. You can still post and all that, but you can't. And you did something, and of course they don't tell you exactly what it was you did. It was a community guidelines violation. Well, what is the violation? So TikTok to me is, if you get the chance to live stream there, I think it's cool to give it a try. But I would definitely encourage going live on YouTube. I mean, really. And you can go live here on Twitter. I have not seen or heard of anyone having any problems with their stream getting silenced or them getting deplatformed because of content. And that is one thing about Twitter, is so open right now. You probably have to do something really, really, really bizarre in order to get shut down here on Twitter.
Exactly. That's one of the things Madeline has said too about the particular topic she covers, is that she can always come over here on Twitter and X and share it because they don't shut her down. So that's a big plus.
Absolutely.
So, oh, by the way, I just checked Riverside. That's the one that I use, for anyone that's not familiar, in place of, Ecamm. Nothing against Ecamm Live, but I mean, that's my Ecamm Live is Riverside, and they actually still have it set up so you can live stream on TikTok. So I'm not sure what they're doing different, but they still have I can still live stream on TikTok. Assuming I can live stream on TikTok, I could live stream on TikTok through Riverside.
Well, it's interesting because actually when I thought I was going live the other day from StreamYard, because I was like, let me just go in here and see. They don't give you an RTMP key. So that's one of the issues. Also, I do know that I think it's Streamlabs. Stream Elements may be the same as well. They kind of have special privileges, but that's because they're catering to that gaming crowd. So they're able to stream from a third-party app. But like in terms of Ecamm or StreamYard, or I think even Restream, I don't think any of those you can stream. But they used to give people the stream key, but they don't do that anymore. Or I can't find it. If it's on my account somewhere, I cannot track it down.
Well, and if you have the stream key, as you know, but for anyone listening that's not familiar, if you have the stream key, there's a lot you can do with setting up a custom feed as far as live streaming. But if you don't have that, then you have to depend on the software to see if they have some kind of connection you don't know, as far as, maybe maybe Riverside or Streamlabs or some of those, behind the scenes, they're best buddies or in college together, whatever. I'm just I'm just throwing stuff out there where they've allowed them access, and so there's a connection there. But without the stream key, you're kind of stuck as far as doing it on your own.
Yeah, and Martin, you have your hand up again, but anytime you're a speaker, so anytime you want to chime in, just chime in. Okay, so
I'm sorry. Should I take it down? I didn't see that it was still up.
Yes, it's still up. It's still up. It's okay. But what I'll do is, could be
now it's up.
It could be there you go. I was going to say it could be a phantom because I'm on my desktop.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
But thanks. So everyone, here's the deal. When you're thinking about live streaming, you not only have to think about what platform are you going to live stream on, but as we've been talking about here, you also have to consider what software you're going to use in order to do your stream. And so that is crucial in terms of your show flow, what you can do on your show. And, we're talking about creative live streaming for the holidays. Let's just say you want to have jingle bells pop up or some kind of a pop up during your stream where bells are jingling or Santa is riding in the background or whatever you want to have in terms of overlays and things like that. So you have to make sure that the software that you're using can accommodate that.
Exactly. Very good point. I think we've listed all, I had a list of platforms. I think every one of them have been listed. And I was thinking when you commented on the software as far as what they can do, yeah, the different platforms or software do different things and allow different things. That's a really good point.
Yeah, because here's one that sadly shut down their API, and that was Facebook. Now, don't get me wrong, you can still live stream on Facebook, but they had an API so that third-party apps would have access to live streaming in groups.
That was cool.
And they decided this year to shut that down.
Yep.
Now, does anybody ever know why they shut that down? Nope.
Does anybody ever know why Facebook does what Facebook or Meta, I should say?
Yep. And as a result, for me personally, that meant that I really stopped streaming actively. I actually did a live stream yesterday, but it was on my page. But most of my live streaming on Facebook was into groups. Well, actually, I have a group where I did all my live streaming. And then there's another group where we were doing them on Fridays, a mastermind. And it's our Logi group, which is for Amazon influencers. But we just pivoted back over to Zoom because we were on Zoom. Then we started using EVMux so that we could be live in the group. But then when Facebook made that change, we just went back to Zoom.
Right.
And, so which means that somebody on the team has to, later on post the replay. And then it's just kind of so silly that Facebook did that.
The funny thing is if they wanted to stop any of the behaviors, they didn't. They just made a couple extra steps. But obviously people are going to continue with what they want to do. They're just going to find a way around it.
Yes, exactly. And, that's why I said it, because we don't know what the goal that they were trying to achieve, we're at a loss.
Right. Do you not want us to congregate in groups? Why do you have groups? No, I'm being facetious. I'm just kidding. Meta, don't get mad at me. Don't block my page.
They're not listening because we're on Twitter.
Exactly.
So for me, the most solid and consistent platform when it comes to live streaming that's open, that people can come and either be in the chat or what have you, would be YouTube.
I knew. I was gonna like, can I guess? Can I guess? I was gonna say, yep. She's gonna say YouTube. Yep.
There was no prizes for that.
Yep. I'd say the same thing. I mean, I love Riverside, but as far as access and everything else, yeah, YouTube.
Yeah. And even StreamYard has this really cool feature for doing webinars. What's it called? I forget. I don't know why I forget the name of it because I never really use it. But it's if you want to do webinars, but then, like I said, it's the host, and maybe the host has a guest on, or, you can invite somebody up from the audience to speak, but it's really just a webinar format. And there's a thin line between webinars and live streaming. To me, live streaming is more interactive, not just someone doing a presentation where everybody's, listening.
Oh, that reminds me, there is also live webinar. It's not as well known, but it does have a really nice interface. They said it's like, you remember the Google Hangouts before they just called themselves YouTube Live, but they call them live webinar, advertises themselves as Google Hangouts on steroids. I'm quoting how they advertise themselves. And it is pretty impressive as far as all the features they have. I don't use live webinar as much as Riverside because Riverside is a higher quality. I won't go all into that, but as far as how the streaming process, it's a higher quality, so it's higher res, sound quality, so forth. But as far as webinars, live webinar has some really cool tools. I can send you a link so you have that for the show notes. But
absolutely. And let's talk a little bit more about Riverside, because I'm not sure I know all the ins and outs of what it can do. So you can live stream to YouTube or Twitter from Riverside.
Right. You can have it up on my tab here. You can go to YouTube, TikTok. Oops, I have to close this because I can't read through pop-ups. Here we go. YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, and then of course the custom RTMP.
Okay.
So if there's something that's not there, you can set it up.
And they don't. Okay. So, Barb T USA is here. Hey, Barb, how are you? Thank you so much for joining. All right. So I did not know that Riverside. I don't think I've ever watched a live stream, and I watch a lot of live streams where the person says we're live today from Riverside. Maybe if I go to some of Riverside's live streams, I would see that, but
that's a good point. I don't think I've ever seen that. I know a lot of people that use Riverside, but it's almost like this hush hush. I don't think it's intentional. Like, oh, we can't tell anyone we're using Riverside. I don't think that's what it is, but it's like a different kind of community where there's a lot of pros that are using, I should say the full word, professionals that are using Riverside, but they're not out there broadcasting it as much as like I hear people using StreamYard. And by the way, I think StreamYard is great as far as like the little widgets and things, the fun stuff. I think they have cool stuff. But as far as quality, Riverside actually is a little higher quality, and that's why I opt for Riverside. And they've been adding stuff all year, 2024. I mean, they're right on top of it. It's like they don't stop adding features. So they're really great. They might not have the cutesy stuff that StreamYard has, but they're definitely pro level.
Okay, so it's higher than 1080? Because StreamYard has a 1080, so you have like the 4K.
Yep.
You can go live in 4K. That's cool.
That, as far as go live, it will be 1080. So that's like StreamYard. As far as the download is 4K. So that part is just like StreamYard. But you know how Zoom, and I'm trying to think of how to describe this, but the recording process is not done over the internet. And that's where you get some really wiggy recordings, because of course, if the internet, jags at all, that's going to affect your pixelation and everything else.
Okay.
And a lot of the different services have that problem. Now, probably Ecamm doesn't, but Zoom does. And Zoom does this thing where you download it afterwards onto your computer. Mm-hmm. But both StreamYard and Riverside do a method that doesn't depend across the internet, so that it's actually recording. Riverside records it on their server, and then you download it. And I know that that's how it looks for Zoom. And I need to write an article on this so I can actually explain it instead of babbling my brains out right here. but I actually looked into this and spent research looking at how all the different streaming services do it. And it turned out, and also reading all the articles from the actual sites themselves and how they explained it. And it turned out that the way I describe it is Riverside is a nudge above StreamYard. And those two, and there might be some others out there that also do it similarly, but Riverside and StreamYard were top as far as how they do the recording because it's not over the internet. And if it's recorded over the internet, that's where you run into problems as far as quality.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you so much. And I told you have so much expertise in this area. Thank you very much for contributing that.
It wasn't too babbly. You can catch me later for the technical details.
So I recently was in attendance for something that YouTube held called LiveCon. And this was just some free presentations that they gave last week for 2 days. They had different speakers on. Some of them were actual content creators, and others were YouTube employees. And they were talking about some of the things that you can do with YouTube Live. So I'm just going to run through some of those since YouTube is my favorite. And surprisingly, there was a couple that I didn't even think of. So, for example, we were talking about the vertical live streams, right? And how popular YouTube is pushing them. And by that, I mean that when you go live vertically, you have the opportunity to show up in the shorts feed. So this gives you extra exposure from people who are not subscribed to you. Okay. So it's sort of a cold audience too. So it also means that you kind of have to change up your content because you want to also be introducing yourself throughout the stream and letting people know what your stream is about and all that. Because, when you see those numbers go up now, personally, that hasn't happened for me. I didn't get lucky enough to get into the shorts feed, but I've been on people's streams where I could tell that they were definitely in that shorts feed. And, but here's the thing, because this is something, I won't call it new, but it's relatively new. There's no ads in this.
Ooh, I like that.
Vertical stream. Yeah. So even if you're not a YouTube premium person, right? You don't subscribe to that and you just want to watch some ad-free YouTube, go over to the shorts feed, or if you see someone going live, and you would know they're live because there's that red circle around them that kind of pulses at you, let you know that they're live. And if you see them live vertically, and once you tap on one person's vertical stream, let's say it's somebody random, right? And you're like, nah, you can just swipe just like you would on TikTok. You just swipe to the next stream and keep swiping. You can do this something similar here on Twitter. But with Twitter, this is just related to video. It doesn't have to be a live stream. But if you're in that video feed, you just keep swiping until you find something that you really care about. So that's one cool thing about those vertical streams. Also, you can, as a viewer, you can just double tap on the screen if you like the stream that you're watching.
That's convenient.
Yeah, and I never knew that. I'm like, I'm glad they do. I'm like, I've been doing this for all this time and I didn't know that. And that's another thing that you can remind people of. Like I said, when you see that influx, you see your numbers going up, then you're in that shorts feed. If all of a sudden you start getting like hundreds or even thousands of people in your stream, that you're in the shorts feed. And, you can just start telling people, hey, my name is Ileane and I'm going to be talking about Amazon or whatever. Tap the screen to like this.
And it's a double tap?
Double tap. Okay. Double tap. That's
and you
right.
know what else you could do? What you just said there, well, maybe, okay, the topic wouldn't work because I'm thinking of something evergreen, but you could record that as far as, hey, if you like this, double tap, whatever, into one of the little oh man, Martin might have to help me as far as what it's called, but in like for instance in the backpack software,
Oh,
we have little pads
right.
and you can
Sure.
put little recordings, but also in PodTrack you can do that. So in any software or hardware that you have that you can record little sound effects, you can do it. And Riverside has it too, and I'm sure Stream Deck, Ecamm Live, some of them have little sound effects where you just click on it and automatically play that. So if you have that, and you could put it like I have the little Stream Deck hardware here. I could put it in one of those too. So while you're streaming, you want to add that, or any ad for that matter. Just click on the button. There you go. It's embedded or baked in to your live stream.
Awesome. Yeah, I love that idea. And honestly, when I did the vertical streams, I think I did maybe one or two using Ecamm. But for the most part, I just go live from my phone
Well, that works.
because it's kind of like the laid back vibe of those vertical streams is kind of like something that's more authentic, and it lends itself to being more interactive because it's casual.
Right.
That
Makes sense. Especially during
it's
the holiday season, that's something that would be a plus.
absolutely, especially if you're out and about, even at a celebration or a party, or even in the mall, and you're, looking at the decorations, or in your neighborhood. And that's a great way to attract people to your stream,
Great
because
idea.
everybody wants to get into the holiday spirit, even if they don't celebrate the holiday. It's just like a fun, festive time that people can enjoy together. And it's usually full of smiles and good tidings.
Yep.
If you hear somebody caroling, that just makes it even better.
I was going to say, maybe you could all get into, like, if somebody has a van or something, or some kind of a multi-person vehicle, y'all hop in, and then you turn on, if they have a good sound system, turn on some Christmas music or some holiday music, put on that,
Right.
and then you sing along with it, and you go look at all the lights, and you could be capturing that with your live stream. And you
Yeah.
have all the background of everybody singing together and chatting and laughing and commenting on, hey, we like those lights. We don't like those, no one would ever say we don't like those lights. Don't say that. That's not nice. But you know what I mean? The chatter and the whole, then you feel like you're a part of it.
And another thing that you can do is co-streaming. Now, you can do this from mobile. I'm talking about YouTube now, okay? Because you can also do this on Instagram. Only I got to tell you, I do not like that experience on Instagram. But on YouTube, it's encouraged for you to do a co-stream, and like your little box will be like on top, and then the other person would be on the bottom. On TikTok, it's more of a side by side situation, or maybe they give you a choice, because I think I've seen it both ways on TikTok. But on Instagram, it's always the guest is always on the bottom. And the reason why it's just not my thing to watch on Instagram, because then all of the chat comments are covering the guest's face. Why they don't make it cover the host face, I don't know. But that's just how it is on Instagram. And Instagram has not changed. It's been like that since they introduced live long time ago. So and so then you also have and I think this is kind of rolling out. They are rolling out some AI. You say AI is a winner, right? AI generative features for viewers. So let's say you've been streaming for 45 minutes. And ironically, this space has been going on for 45 minutes. I just happened to look up at the clock. And someone joins. So they don't know what you're talking about or what has transpired, but they have now these AI generative live chat summaries. Live chat summaries. So someone who's joining. Now, the only thing about this, I haven't seen it in action, but it's really a summary of the chat, not the summary of what the host has been talking about. And those two things can be different. It just all depends on the stream. So it's definitely something that I would like to experience and see what it's like to check out one of these summaries. Because you know me, I would be sneaky. I would be looking at it on another account and then going to my other account and see what the summary is, even though I already know because I was watching.
That could be an interesting like bonus component as far as writing a summary. But yeah, I agree with you that that's interesting that it pulls it from the chat rather than what the host is talking about.
Yeah, and I guess it's probably easier for them in terms of, you know, the generative AI because it's all typed. They don't have to transcribe it. It's
Right.
there already typed in. And so it's easier for the AI to just go through that and create that summary.
And that way too, I mean, if you're not reading all the comments because you're focusing on doing the live stream, then the AI is doing it for you.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
And of course, if you want a summary of what you said, you just go, like you said, transcribe the content from the video and then run that through an AI somewhere.
Zealous.
Yes, exactly. I was going to say there's probably like 15 different things you could list for options. That's for another AI episode.
Yes, we have to come back.
Yes. Oh, love
sometime in 2025, believe me, we'll be talking about AI again. Oh boy, I got some goodies to tell you about that too. So back to live streaming though. So there's another feature that has started rolling out. Once again, I don't have it yet, but this has to do with gifting, giving, supporting the creators with monetary gifts, and these are called jewels. Like, you know, diamonds, rubies, you know, JEWELS, jewels. And this reminds me of Twitch so much. So you would buy like packs of jewels. I'm just calling them packs. I don't know if that's the terminology YouTube is using. So you buy, let's say, $10 worth of jewels. And as you're watching different streams, you would gift, let's say, $1.50 to this person. You're on a different stream, you give them 50 cents. However, you know, they break it down. And because I don't have it, I don't even have access to buy these jewels yet. So I don't know all the specifics, but that's something for you to be on the lookout for. But guess what? Only on vertical streams.
Interesting.
So this is above and beyond super chats. Okay.
Wow.
Because the person has already made the transaction. They've already gone to YouTube and said, yes, give me a pack or a wad or whatever they call it of jewels. Oh, a booty of jewels, right? A kitty, whatever.
Yep.
And then you spend them as so YouTube's already made their money. But then, you know, as the person distributes those and sprinkles them around to different creators or gives them all to one creator, then that's how that streamer would get paid. And I do believe that it's a higher percentage than what you would get from a super chat. But like I said, because I don't have access to it yet, but I will definitely follow up with y'all. And believe me, I'll be tweeting about it as soon as I get access. I'll be screenshotting and everything else.
Wonderful. That reminds me of what Martin introduced me to as far as the Satoshis. Did I finally pronounce that correctly, Martin? As far as
almost.
Yeah, it sounds good because you know, we don't know who Mr. Satoshi is anyway, so he doesn't mind. I think you have to say it in a Japanese way.
Yeah, there we go.
Satoshis. Yes.
Satoshis. Okay. Yeah, that is how it looks as far as spelling Satoshis. But
yeah. So thanks for reading my mind, Deborah.
I was like, yep, I've been working on that one, and
because this will be the breakthrough in a way, and especially adding that to music that you could send jewels or whatever. But if you have something that's already established that you could trust, like you could trust Bitcoin, and this is a part of it's a bit of a Bitcoin. It's if you take one Bitcoin and divide it 100 million times, then you get the Satoshi.
Right.
And that's a small number. It's like a cent or whatever, or even not that. But now Bitcoin have increased in value, or you could say that the fiat currency have decreased in value. Something is happening,
Right.
and I could see that when I send some Euros or some boostergrams 3 years ago, it's now 3 times that amount.
Wow.
So this is interesting in the future, but when we need your guidance and help and expertise, Deborah, because you know you are really into that as a musician and an artist, so we have to talk more about it because it has to be easier to understand how to get this. But
and server, by the way, I set up a server for it, but we'll save that for next month's topic on podcasting.
But I really look forward to that because I have run with Sicard and break channel and closed all kind of good stuff, and things are happening in podcasting 2.0 swear. But I really look forward to that new one. And at the same time, it is pads that you could have at like Roadcaster and Backpack and so on with sound effects.
Mm-hmm.
And also I really look forward to your piece, your article, your blog post on this list of different live streaming tools. For example, it would be good to include also, like you say, this maybe not call it professional, but underdog or small users like Boomcaster that I got suggested by a podcaster, Danny Brown in Canada. So if you could compare it, Deborah, then I will definitely want to send you a clap or Jules or Sats or whatever you want to have, or coffee or tea, buy me a coffee or tea, because that's really valuable to compare and contrast. What I like is that it plays for everyone out there. We have market shares for everyone, so it's good that like StreamYard coming back. It's good that you have Riverside. It's good that you have all kind of tools out there, and they find their market and their users. So it's enough space for everyone.
Yep.
But it will be good with like an honest review and listening and so on, because that will be really valuable when you're sitting there. And then I have a question because I came late, Ileane. I am an Apple, fanboy, but critical to Apple in a way regarding podcasting and so on. But I'm now leaning when I have pretty new computer, MacBook Air M2. It's like 2 years now. But did you say that you could have Ecamm on? Because I have this one I am talking now is a very old one, is 6S Plus. But in order to use some service like app like Strike that you could use like for Bitcoin and so on, you have to have iOS 16, and the latest one is 15.8.3. I think I have on my old phone, so I have to unbox my iPhone 14 now. So could I stream live on using Ecamm on a phone also, or is it only on laptop?
Yes, it's only on the desktop or a laptop, but it would not work with the on air.
Okay. Yeah.
So you would need a MacBook or MacBook Pro, or an iMac. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks.
Thanks for those questions. And so let's I'm going to also share some tips that they gave. This was YouTube now from their LiveCon. Turn on closed captions for your live streams. And you can do that in your dashboard. If you're in your YouTube studio, you have a live dashboard. And I will share the link on how to get there. Everybody has a different link because your user ID is inside that link. So you can turn on closed captions. Also, they always recommend scheduling 2 to 3 days in advance. Just smack my hand right now because I never do that.
2 to 3 days beforehand?
Yes.
Wow. Not just in time, as me as a former purchaser. Oh.
Say that again?
Not as a just in time as a former purchaser, I said. As I'm doing it. So, but is it better result if you have 2 people will not forget about it?
Well, for one thing, there will in that shorts feed, there also will be like a banner sort of where people can subscribe to get their notification.
Okay,
This
that's like a bell. That's good.
Yeah, this is one thing that kind of annoys me about YouTube, and I did ask them about this, and so I know it's not going to change. You can't put a calendar notification. Like when you're on your mobile with Twitter, you can download a calendar or you can add it to your calendar. You can't add it to your calendar on YouTube. You can manually. You can go and just, open up your calendar and say, oh, yeah, Deborah's going live at such and such a time and date. But YouTube wants you to have on those notifications.
Is that weird though? I mean, YouTube is Google and Google Calendar.
No,
Yeah,
they
Google
want
Calendar, yeah.
they want you to listen up, y'all, because I
Yeah.
asked the question.
Yeah.
They want you to have on notifications. Because the answer that I got back, because I said, is YouTube ever going to make it easier for people to, put that on their calendar? And they said, well, it's better if you depend on your YouTube notifications. And I said to myself, it's better for you, not me, because I'm not getting. I subscribe to thousands of YouTube channels. I ain't hardly turning on no notifications.
I was just thinking that.
So that's intentional. This is, this is the vibe that I got from that person. Now, I could be wrong, but obviously they're not that stupid that they they don't know that they could just give us a calendar link, right?
They also know we
They want you to get sucked in.
Yeah.
Say that again, Martin.
Yes, they want you to get sucked in this so-called rabbit hole called YouTube. And spend lots of time there.
Yeah, and I do. They don't. That's the thing about it is they don't have to force me. I'm a willing supporter of YouTube. I just want to make it easier so that I can remember when people are going live. And because I subscribe
good point
to so many channels at this point, it's just like there's no way unless it's like something really serious that I know that I need to be there. I'm either supporting someone, but like, for example, someone goes live every Saturday, but I don't remember exactly what time they go live. I'm not adding that to my calendar. I'm just not. If I'm on YouTube at that time, but if I had the ability to just click a button and add it to my calendar, I would do it. But I'm just not going to like open up my calendar, add a title, then add the link. That's just too much work for me. First world problems, okay?
I have a podcast in Swedish, Penna möter papper, but we have some international edition is in English also, Pen Meets Paper. So you could take out your pen and your notebook and write it down.
Yeah, but then who's going to
pulling your
remind
leg now?
Who's going to remind me to look at that note when it's time?
Your partner. Or Deborah and I, we could do it. Or
okay, all right, y'all
for a
remind.
small fee, for some jewels, we could remind you.
Yes,
I'm joking with you.
I know. I'll get you some jewels, Martin. Don't worry. So really, we are at the top of the hour. So I'm just going to really quickly go through a couple of the other suggestions that they made of scheduling 2 to 3 days in advance. And you can turn on subscriber only chats. So that's a great way, because remember I said you're going to be seeing this cold traffic coming into your live if you happen to make it into the Shorts feed, right? And they won't be able to chat unless you turn on the subscriber only and set it to 5 minutes. So they'll see a little notification that says you must be a subscriber and 5 minutes or whatever, or you can just announce that, as you guys are subscribing, it's going to be 5 minutes before you can chat. So I love that. Also, you can turn on enable auto start so that you don't have to push that live button when that scheduled time comes, you can do polls. And here's the last one that I'll share. You can redirect to someone else's live stream when your live stream is over. So let's just say, I know I'm going to go live at 2:00, and then Lisa's stream starts at 2:30. So when my stream is over at 2:28, everybody who's in the chat will be redirected over to Lisa's channel to watch her stream. Now, my friend Doug Houston YT, he does, I'm one of his moderators on his channel, and he does that every Saturday because he has his creator breakfast. And then following that is Nick Nimen's live stream, because Nick Nimen, he's been live streaming for years now, every Saturday for hours. He gives people tips and advice on, how to do YouTube. So at the end of Doug's stream, we all know that we're all being redirected over to Nick's stream. And sometimes there's a little lag there. It might be 5 minutes. It just all depends upon when he actually ends his stream. And that's okay, because we all greet each other in the chat, and we all say, yeah, I'm here from Doug's chat, or, from Doug's stream. And it's a cool thing. So that live redirect to another live stream is another tip that I'm going to close out with. I've got more tips. We'll save them for another time. And I appreciate you all so much for being here. That time flew. I don't even know how an hour went by, Deborah.
Hey, can I just share 6 really quickly for holiday? Only because, I agree with you. I've got a whole list of tips that we can share about live stream, but this is December, so just some holiday ideas in case people need some ideas for holiday content for their live stream.
Great.
We have streaming like holiday recipes or cooking shows. So if you've got this wonderful recipe, you could live stream it. And you can do that in vertical. The stuff you can do on vertical. So that works with all of Miss Ileane's tips about vertical live streaming. You can host a virtual holiday party. And I have a tip for that one at the very end too. So we'll come back to that one. Showcasing holiday crafts and do it yourself. My family used to do that. We didn't get all into like buying gifts and stuff. We used to hide, and then we would make gifts for each other. So it's like, okay, 4 of us would be in one room, the other person would be in another room, and then we'd switch and all that. Well, you could actually demonstrate what crafts you're making and make that a little show and really get the family vibe going with other people and with your audience. The next one is streaming a live holiday countdown or event. Maybe a church wants to do that or something. And that relates to the next one, which is incorporating charity or fundraising efforts. Maybe it's a holiday vibe there, and, give money to kids or toys or things like that. And the final one is handling technical issues. And that one is kind of an evergreen. That's not necessarily just holiday, but maybe people need to know how to use their cameras or their microphones or whatever for their holiday party. And you could do a holiday-based technical issues live stream to help them get ready for their holiday parties or their live streams. So kind of helping forward. But the one on the virtual parties, there is a resource that's cool. I haven't really used it extensively, but I think it's really fun. It's gobrunch.com. And it's a virtual, like you can all hang out and you pick your background. You can all hang out in a jazz club. That was the one I picked. You could be a coffee house. It kind of blows my mind what they're doing, but it's free. And then if you want more than 6 people, you can pay money. But if you just want 6 people hang out in a virtual kind of holiday party type thing, that's a great site to use and you don't have to pay any money. So
wonderful. I love those tips. And, the recipes and the parties and the crafting things and the charity and fundraising things are awesome as well. I have a couple of my, because I hang out with live streamers, a couple of my friends use that Go Brunch. And I've been on, in the room when they were doing them. And so it's pretty fun. I love it. Thank you so much for adding those.
Sure thing. Thank you. I learned a lot too. I love these because I would walk away all excited about whatever we just talked about. It's like, I gotta go do this.
Yeah, so at this time, let's see if we can just sign off with Martin. Let's start with you and just let people know where they can find you and all that good stuff.
Yes, they could find me at teaparty.media. Teaparty.media.
Okay, thank you, Martin. And
Thanks.
Deborah?
And you can find me in most places at Social Web Cafe. And the website, so if I post that, if I put if there, when I post the tutorial, it would be at socialwebcafe.com. Or you can go straight to YouTube, which is youtube.com/social web cafe.
And Lisa, I guess she had to leave. I will just say you can find her at Inspire to Thrive. And on Twitter, she is Lisa Pat B. All one word, Lisa Pat B. And Ileane, your girl here, you can find me. All you need to know is how to spell my name, Ileane. Okay, bye bye.
Thanks all.